What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's 2024 and you guys are wondering what E-Moto to buy. Well, we have three of the most popular and what we think are the best small E-Motos here in person. We've been riding them, testing them, and today we're gonna be ranking them in a ton of different categories and tallying up the points and see which one comes out ahead. Really quick, I need you guys to pause the video, and if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the Talaria Boys channel. We need to get in all the info about these bikes. This is the 79 bike Falcon M. This is the E-Ride Pro SS, and this is the Talaria Sting R. Now, for this test, we have leveled the playing field a little bit on all three bikes, and we have installed our three must-do first upgrades for all these small E-Motos. I think they all need it, and that is gonna be a 3-inch rise handlebar. So we installed that on all three bikes. Also, to go with your handlebar, upgraded grips. Now we put these on all the bikes. Such an inexpensive modification that makes a huge difference. So that is on all three bikes. Our next upgrade is foot pegs. So the stock foot pegs are horrible. They have no grip. They're a really small platform. We upgraded to Warp 9 foot pegs on all three bikes. That's gonna provide the grip. Next up, we did tires. So for all three bikes, we installed Dunlop MX34 70x119 tires, front and rear. This is a great tire upgrade. However, before we filmed this video, getting all these bikes ready, we got them ready before a new tire came out. That is called the Tusk Ground Wire. These are brand new E-Moto specific tires that we actually would have chosen, and we recommend more than the Dunlop MX34. Still an amazing tire, but this is your front. Come compare that, Reed. That's your front, great looking tire, E-Moto specific. Here's your rear. Look at how grippy and knobby that is on a stock 19 size. So we're gonna have links in the description to all these parts and the tires, and this is what we would recommend as your first upgrades that are gonna make a major difference to any of these bikes. So now that they're all leveled out and we have a good fit and comfort, grip, traction on all three, let's start ranking them in these categories and help you understand everything you need to know to purchase these bikes. Now, we're not trying to sell you on a specific bike, not trying to make commissions here, just trying to help you understand what is best for you. And at the end of the day, we don't care which bike you buy. We just want you to get one, get out and ride, because it is so much fun. All right, let's list off all the categories we're ranking the bikes in. The big ones: price, power, battery life, and upgrades available: top speed, brakes, drag race, weight, control center, headlight, online support, belt versus gearbox, availability, suspension, and linkage. Now, we're gonna be going through a lot of these categories pretty fast, so if you want more info after this video, we do have another review video for each of these bikes on our channel. So go reference that video if you want to learn more. For this video, guys, this is a lot of work to be able to do this, to be able to compare all these bikes. Me and Reed and Alex have spent hours compiling info, building this chart, ranking the bikes, going out on dedicated specific rides. Like yesterday, we drained the bikes from 100 all the way to like 10%, riding them, trading off, not doing any filming, just analyzing things, just riding, comparing. We had a meeting before and afterwards to agree on how we would rank each bike and actually compare them. There's no other YouTube channels doing this, you guys. No one else has all three of these bikes and is directly comparing them to each other, comparing them to different riders, trying different trails, trying different things, doing range tests. So all of that is factored into these points, and I think you guys are gonna love the info that we're gonna give you, and we're excited for you to pick your first E-Moto. You're gonna love it. First category, price. Now this one is a real tricky one because depending on where you get it, it's a different price. Some places charge tax, some places charge shipping, some don't. So to start off here, 79 bike Falcon M. Currently, you can only buy this directly from 79 bike in China. Now with our Talaria Boys discount code, the price comes out to $42.50. That's how it's been for a long time, like 4 or 5 months now. But we have heard that they just recently added shipping, which raises the price up to $46.80. Okay, later while editing the video, we did confirm there is no shipping cost added to the 79 bike. It is still $4,250, so just keep that in mind. We didn't adjust all the points. Next up, E-Ride Pro SS. The least expensive we've been able to find it is $51.50 after shipping. Base price is $4,900, shipping was $250, gets you up to $51.50. Now, we've also seen it for drastically more than that, up to say $5,700. We will also have a link in the description for all these sites so you guys can get the best deal. TalariaStingR is on sale right now at Lunicycle for $4,200, plus tax comes out to $4,500 with free shipping. So the point system goes where the winner gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, and third place gets 1 point. So in this case, we are giving the win to the Talaria Sting R because we know for sure you can get it for $4,500, which is less expensive than this. So this bike gets 2 points, this bike gets 1 point. Category number 2 is power. E-Ride Pro SS, this is our most powerful bike here. This has a peak power output of 12 kilowatts. Over here, 79 bike Falcon M. This has a peak power output of 8 kilowatts. Over here, TalariaStingR also has peak power output of 8 kilowatts. So these bikes are ranked as follows. We got the winner gets 3 points, and then we have these two are actually tying for third place. Now, when a bike ties, they both get that point, and we put them in third place because this bike has a pretty drastic amount of extra power. 3 points, 1 point each. Our next category is going to be battery size. These two bikes are actually 72 volt bikes. The Talaria is a 60 volt bike. Now, to be able to compare the different sizes of batteries, we had to calculate the watt hours, which is how you compare batteries of different voltages to get the true size. You guys can see in the chart up here what those watt hours actually come out to. But our winner is the E-Ride Pro again with the 72 volt 40 amp hour battery. It's a pretty good sized battery. Second place, TalariaStingR, 60 volt, says 45 amp hour, but it's really like 43.5 amp hour. You guys can see up on the chart. That is our second place. Even though this is 60 volt, it still has the same power as this 72 volt, and it has larger capacity, so more range. So this is a 72 volt 35 amp hour battery, and it is currently in last place on our battery chart. Category number 4 is aftermarket upgrades available. Let's talk about the Talaria Sting first. Now, this bike has been around the longest. This bike has a ton of upgrades available. Next up, we have the E-Ride Pro SS, and we're going to talk about the Falcon at the same time. These bikes are both newer bikes. We have done videos test fitting every aftermarket upgrade that we could kind of find to fit these. There's a lot of stuff that still fits, but nowhere near as much as a Talaria Sting R. So that bike is going to win this category, and these two bikes are going to come in second place in that third slot again because they're still far behind. So these both get 1 point. That gets 3 points. Now, I need to throw in an honorable mention to the Surron Light B. We didn't put that bike in this competition because in stock form for price and power and everything, we don't think it competes with any of these bikes. Where it does compete is aftermarket upgrades. If that bike was in this competition, it would win, it would beat the Talaria, and we still feel it's an amazing bike. If you want to put a ton of money and build a super custom high performance build, that is going to be your top dog bike. Talaria Sting is not that far behind, but it is behind, so just wanted to mention that with the Surron. Our next category is going to be top speed. E-Ride Pro SS is the fastest bike here. It does 56 miles per hour that we have tested on our GPS cycling computer. Next up, TalariaStingR did 51 miles per hour on GPS. 79 bike Falcon M, we have done 50 miles an hour, so that's going to be our points. 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Our next category is brakes. So the 79 bike comes with 200 mil rotors. That puts it in last place in this category. It has 79 bike branded brakes, which feel exactly the same. I think they're the same brake as the Talaria Sting R, but it comes with 220 mil rotors, and they do provide more stopping power. These brakes are good. They're fine. They're nothing amazing. E-Ride Pro, it does have an upgrade in the brakes. So these have larger calipers, already come with 220 mil rotors, same as the Sting R, but they do have more power, and the lever modulation is really good. So we're giving 3 points to the Pro SS, 2 points to Talaria, 1 point to the Falcon M. All right, it is drag race time. I will be on the Falcon, Reed on the Talaria Sting R, Alex on the E-Ride Pro SS. We all weigh the same. We're doing 4 drag races at different battery percentages to show how the batteries degrade and the power changes over time. This first race is at 100%, the second will be at 60%, the third at 30%, and the last at 15%. Super low battery, so we are super interested to see what happens, see how all these bikes compare. You guys know what the powers are rated. We've already talked about that. Let's go. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I'm in last. Dang, that E-Ride Pro is so fast. Drag race number 2, 60% battery. I'm on the Falcon, Reed's on the Sting R, Alex on the Pro SS. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, we're neck and neck. Oh, he's pulling a little bit. 30% charge drag race. Sting R, Falcon, E-Ride Pro SS, same riders. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. All right. Not too far off. All right. 15% E-Ride Pro, Falcon, Sting. 3, 2, 1, go. Reed is easily winning. E-Ride Pro is way back there. Dang. You guys saw all those drag races. The E-Ride Pro SS is the winner hands down. It was drastically faster. The Talariasting R was consistently ahead of the Falcon in every single race, so it did great. It is in second place. The Falcon did great as well. It wasn't that far behind the Talariasting R and is still a fast drag race bike, has a lot of torque. I will say we've drag raced this and the Sting R previously and they were closer, and we think that the upgraded tires made a little bit bigger effect on this bike than on that bike. So we're gonna say that's why it was a little bit slower, because in previous tests it's been dead even with the Talariasting R in most cases. Honorable mention on the drag race, it was awesome that Talariasting R at 15% still had tons of power and top speed. Our next category is weights. Our lightest bike in this group is the E-Ride Pro SS at 139 pounds that we weighed it when we pulled it out of the box. Next up, we have 79 bike Falcon M. This bike weighed 143 pounds on our scale. And then the Talariasting R at 151 pounds on our scale. Now these weights do not include the upgrades, so these tires make the bikes a little bit heavier, and you can notice between the 3 bikes a little bit of the differences in the weight when you ride them, but also the sturdiness of frames here and there. So like, I feel like the Talariasting R is a better bike for, say, a 250-pound rider. You will notice that the frame flexes less than, say, this bike. This bike's the lightest, and you can feel it when you ride it. Our next category is controls and display. So come on over to the 79 bike, Reed. So here we have a pretty disappointing display, if we're honest. Doesn't have very much functionality. We do have our buttons over here to activate that, horn reverse, mode button. Now one thing this bike does have is reverse and an app. So this bike is actually the winner of this category because of that app. In that app, it's not like a crazy high-tech app or anything, but it does have by far the most customization. You can build different modes, build them however you want, and do that cool stuff along with reverse. This is the winner, it gets 3 points. Next up, we're actually tying these 2 bikes for a few different reasons. So come check this out. This is the E-Ride Pro. So we do have a much larger display that does look a lot nicer, but it doesn't have a ton of functionality. Over here we have our Eco Mode, Sport Mode, Regen 1, 2, and 3, horn, and turbo button. So that's not a bad setup at all. The display just doesn't have a ton in the back-end menus or information to get into. Now the Talariasting R has a much smaller display, but it does have a lot of functionality and information that you can get deep inside the menus, and we like that a lot. This has a horn here, basic start button, not a ton going on in this bike, but We actually like that in a way. So we're gonna tie these bikes because of that. But at the end of the day, this is just personal preference and these are our opinions on each of these. I don't think any of them are necessarily bad at all. To go along with that, our next category is headlight and headlight switch. We've got a stock headlight here that looks like a knockoff grit shift blinder. If any of you guys have seen that, it's actually a really good headlight. And the new 2.0 version of the E-Ride Pro actually comes with a switch to turn your headlight on and off. That's awesome. This is the only bike here to have a decent headlight and a switch. We move over to the Talaria Sting. This is our headlight. It's fine, but if you ride at night or off-road, it's just not good enough. It's got a really narrow beam, has no light switch to turn it off or on. The same headlight is on the 79 bike. We already have an upgraded one on here, so don't mind that. This is the same as the Talaria Sting, just in a different case. Also, no light switch. So the E-Ride Pro wins easily in this category, 3 points for it. And these two are gonna tie for third place and get 1 point each because this is so much brighter of a light and it has the switch on it. Our next category is online support. TalariaStingR is winning this one easily. It's been around the longest. There is so many people that have these bikes, and if you have an issue, you're gonna be able to find help and parts for it. Next up, E-Ride Pro SS. This bike is doing great for how long it's been on the market, but it still needs a little bit of time to have everybody get it in their hands, learn it, and figure out some of the long-term problems. 79 bike Falcon M is a little ways behind that even because there's fewer people with this, but so far it's still been a great bike. Our next category is the primary drive system on each of these bikes. So these two bikes are the same. They have a belt coming off the motor back to here that then goes across to where the chain meets. This is the most common type of primary drive that you will see on these small electric motos, and it works fine, it works great. The Talaria Sting has a gear reduction, so basically is instead of a belt with two pulleys, it has gears inside of a metal case full of oil, and it's super smooth and quiet, and that is gonna be the winner of this category. This is a little bit of personal preference, but we love the way this feels, and we ride all these bikes, and it just feels smoother and better in our opinion. These still work fine, but that's how we're ranking this one. 3 points, and tied for second place at 2 points on both of these. Next up, we have availability. So our Talaria Sting R is gonna win this one. Been around the longest, there's the most dealers. You can always get that bike from the time you order it within a week here in the United States. E-Ride Pro SS is actually not that far behind. It was hard to get at one point, but now a lot more dealers are carrying them, having them in stock. So this is gonna be second place. In third place is the 79 bike. This bike, you can order it today, but it's gonna take you a long time to get it. We're talking 2-3 months is the average because you are coming directly from China on this bike, whereas these are stocked in the United States. So 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Our next category is suspension. This again is another tricky one because we're gonna be ranking forks and rear shocks, and this comes down to a little bit of personal preference, and also different size riders are gonna think a different set of suspension is gonna be a little better than another. So let's talk about the 79 bike first. This has actually decent feeling suspension. I think for a smaller, lighter rider, this is gonna be suspension that's gonna work great for you. It has some adjustability on it. If we move over to the E-Ride Pro SS, this also has decent suspension. I think it is better than this one. So this suspension does feel better. It is brand new suspension that hasn't come on some of the other bikes. The shock is a little more tried and tested. This is a KKE rear shock. The fork is an RST, and this one is a little bit newer to the market. Not a ton of people have had, thousands of miles put on this fork. So we don't know the longevity of this version. There also is no rings on the fork here like some of the others. I'll show you on the Talaria, but this is all scratched. Like that's metal worn away, that's not dirty. If you see on the Talaria and most forks, they have this ring here that keeps this from actually hitting and grinding down your fork. So that moves us over to the Talaria. This comes with either Talaria factory suspension front or rear or fast stay suspension. I think both options are a great option, and they really are good for these big heavy E-Motos. It doesn't feel like mountain bike suspension. It feels like suspension that is sturdy, it's not gonna fold, it's not gonna break. And so we are gonna actually give the win to this Talaria because this suspension, we've ridden it lots of miles and it is held up really well, and I think it's gonna work best for the widest variety of weights of riders and different riding styles. So we're gonna give this the win at 3 points, but I wanna say the E-Ride Pro is not far behind. If this wasn't a case, and if we had more time on the suspension to really know if it's gonna hold up after 1,000 miles, then this is really right up next to the Talaria. So that's 2 points. Falcon's gonna get 1 point, still has decent suspension, but not as good as these two. Next up is gonna be suspension linkages. So on the Falcon M here, we have the same style linkage as a Surron Light B. We got a triangle. This is our least favorite. It feels the most harsh, doesn't feel very plush, and doesn't feel like you have as much suspension travel as you actually do, which isn't great with suspension. Next, we're actually gonna tie the E-Ride Pro and the TalariaStingR for their linkages. They have very different style linkages, but they both feel good, supportive, plush, and they're both quiet and seem to ride very well. So these are gonna tie for first place. This is getting second place, 2 points. Okay, this is an honorable mention category. There's no points for this one. We just wanna go over the ergonomics, how they fit like when you're riding them. So 79 bike is smaller than the other two. This is gonna be great for a smaller rider. If you're 5'5", you are gonna fit better on this bike than these bikes. That's your smaller option. As we get into these are pretty much identically sized and they feel very much the same when you ride them as far as size goes. But I think that the Talaria is smoother in all of this area. So if we go look at this, this is all smoother plastics, and you do notice it when you ride. Like, this is where your knees are. Like, your pants aren't getting snagged on as much, and I think the seat is actually a better position and comfort on the Talaria than the E-Ride Pro. I spent the last like 3 weeks riding this. I rode it a ton. It was my primary bike. And I thought the comfort was fine, but when I got on the Talaria after, I was like, I like the comfort of this bike better, but I think they're both very similar. They're just a little bit different, but they are about the same size. Okay, you guys can see the points. The E-Ride Pro is the winner, 36 points. Next up, TalariaStingR, 34 points, and the 79 bike Falcon M at 21 points. Huge props to E-Ride for coming out and beating the Talaria Sting R. That is awesome to have another bike up on the top throne here. Another honorable mention, TalariaXXX. Now, that bike for the money, you just can't beat it. Dirt wheels, street wheels, whatever. If you have a little over $3 grand to spend, that's your bike. Now, I just want to add, you guys, all three of these bikes, they're amazing bikes. It's our job in this video, you know, in YouTube to nitpick all these little things, all these little categories, compare the bikes, right? Go on these rides and truly just dive into how they work. But at the end of the day, they're actually all really good bikes, and we have no interest or care at all which bike you buy. We just want you to have the same experience we're having and get out and ride and just have a good time. It's such a fun opportunity to ride electric bikes. Like, we're in that day and age and they're so fun. We really appreciate you guys watching this video, and we are super excited to actually announce that we just launched a full online E-Moto parts store, tbelectricmoto.com. You guys need to check it out because the first 50 orders placed, one of you guys is gonna get $50 cash in your box. So if you place an order, you better dig through your packaging because you might find $50. We appreciate all you guys' support. Check out the website. There's tons of awesome products on there, tons of stuff in stock. Like, it's ready to go. So you guys can go order right now. Okay guys, the video is about over, but if you guys enjoyed this E-Moto content, please check out our other videos and hit that subscribe button to our channel. We have exciting things coming. We have the 2.0 version of the E-Ride Pro coming very soon. We'll have a full review of that, going over the changes, full trail ride, all that fun stuff. Other cool things coming to Talaria boys, you guys. You guys have no idea what is coming. If you guys have any questions about all three of these bikes, please leave us a comment. We answer all of you guys' comments. It's a ton of work, but we do it for you guys. We hope that you guys can get out on a bike and have fun just like we are. Hit that subscribe button, guys, and we'll catch you next video. See ya.